Hello everyone, welcome to the Saturday edition of This Day. It's April 6th, and how do we know it's Saturday? I'm back at the desk. That's how it works here, folks. Hey, we got a great show for you today. It's going to be a good one. We're going to talk to Philip Chait from the Bocce and Social Club, and he's got a great talk about a show they have coming up next week, so make sure you stay tuned for that, and all the things they do at the Social Club and Bocce Clubs. It should be fun. Then we have a new segment we're introducing, the Doctor's Lounge, and that's brought to us by RadNet. And then later in the program, Heart of Rock and Roll, great tribute band for Huey Lewis and the News. I'll be talking to Roger Langdon about their show coming up over at the Performing Arts Center, so that is going to be fun as well. Hey, we want to keep you informed, and if you have asbestos in your manor, there is a way for you to give some feedback on how the process goes, what you need to do, and some clarity. So a lot of times folks are confused about what the process is, how do we do the abatement, what are the first steps, and they are looking for input. The VMS and the City of Laguna Woods is also looking for some input. So if you want to send them an email, subject line asbestos, and just basically give your input about what we could do, what they could do to clarify the process, what your questions are, and how they can streamline it so everybody understands. Send that email to alterations@vmsinc.org by Monday, April 29th, and they're going to get your feedback, and they're going to try to come up with a better way of making asbestos abatement easier for everybody. All right, let's take a look outside at our weather. The rains are gone, and we should have some pretty much just a nice day today. A little breezy, maybe a little as the storm kind of clears out, but temperatures in the 60s, and we're going to have a slow warming trend as we get into next week. So this is going to be a nice one. Hopefully a little bit of a dry out. April showers, just please. We've had enough already, right? We want some sunshine. We want some spring. Let's take a look at our sunrise and our sunset while we're at it. And this is a beautiful shot over Borrego Springs, California, brought to us by Jules Anderson. Thank you so much, Jules, for that. Our sunrise this morning was 6:30, and our sunset tonight, 7:15 p.m. If you'd like to send us a picture of a great sunrise, sunset, location, vacation, your pet, places you've been, any of the above, go ahead and send them to us. Email LagunaWoodsVillageTV@gmail.com. Make sure you include your name, where you took the photo, and we will put it on our sunrise sunset segment. When we come back, we're going to be talking to Bocce and Social Club's Philip Chait about a big event they have coming up. Stay with us.
Irvine Barclay Theater is your home for the best in live entertainment. Here's what's coming up next. For tickets and information, visit thebarclay.org.
And welcome back. Are you interested in playing bocce, interested in going to some concert, interested in having some fun? We've got it all for you. Phil Chait's going to join us, and he's with the Bocce and Social Club here in Laguna Woods.
And Social.
And
yes.
Social.
And Social.
And Social. And you have a big event. Let's start off with your big event. We'll get into bocce in a second, but you got a big event coming up April 9th. Tell us all about it.
Right there you have it as well. It's it's called our Spring Fling, and it's going to have a great band called Legends of Rock. And it has a special guest star, and I want to be honest with you, I have no idea who that guest star is. All I've been told was, it's very good, I really enjoy it, everyone will really enjoy the person, but I really don't know. I told them, don't tell me, so that way I could act surprised. But I really don't know who that guest star is, so that's another thing.
It's coming. We'll know on Tuesday.
We're going to know on Tuesday. If you show up, you'll know before everyone else will. And then, in addition to that, we also have raffles. We always have raffles for everything, so there's 10 raffles we usually do during intermission, all cash prizes. And then we give coffee and cake, and the admission is only $10. So you get great dance band, you get refreshments, you get a raffle, all for $10. And that's for members and guests, $10. Mm-hmm. So we hope everyone can make it out there. It's going to be a fun event. We've been kind of filling up the clubhouse too with these events, and hopefully we'll do it again on Tuesday.
Sounds terrific. So tell me about Bocce and Social Club. Bocce, for folks who don't know, it's a kind of a lawn bowling kind of game.
Well, you know, I like to compare lawn bowling to bocce, but that's okay. Yes, it is kind of a lawn bowling type game.
I'm in trouble already.
Yeah. The club was founded in 1971, so it's been around for a long time. We have roughly right now, I think, 255 members and 15 lifetime memberships. So that's what our core group is. We play right now around the Clubhouse 1 area. Excuse me. We have 3 courts there right by the library. I know Clubhouse 1 is under construction, but we were granted the stay of not being closed because we weren't really in the path of construction, so we got lucky there. So basically we play Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays from, I forgot the time already, 1:30 to about 3:30, 4 o'clock. And so we do that 3 times a week. And on Thursdays, we have potluck lunch, whatever you want to call it, where all the members bring in their favorite dishes and all this kind of stuff. And we provide wine and soda and water, etc. So we just have, it's a huge event. Everyone eats, everyone just talks and does whatever they do. But again, so while bocce is the most important thing, obviously, but we are a very social club. I mean, in between games, people sit and talk. And not only we made a lot of friendships, it's actually been some romantic friendships made also. So actually, when I say social, I'm not kidding you. It's a very good club, but everyone's super nice and super friendly, and we welcome people to come in and play and learn the game, etc. There's one game that I could tell you that men have no physical advantage over women. So it's equal playing field. In fact, well, I'll talk later about one of our events we have. But I'm just saying, so everyone can play. It's an easy game to play, a little tough to master, but easy to play.
Okay.
So, and that's why we welcome people to come try it. It's as I said, it's a great game to play.
So social club plus. Do you like that part of that in terms of the bocce? Is the community that kind of surrounds that whole world?
Oh, well, as I told you briefly before we started this, was that my impetus for moving to Laguna Woods was the bocce club. Because when I was invited here, the first place I went was to the bocce club, and I was so impressed by how nice everyone was and how friendly. I went home. We lived in Rancho Mission Viejo. I told my wife about it. Came back again. It was the exact same experience the next time. Told her, now you have to come down with me, and she did. And we were so impressed, and so with all the people and everything that was going on, we bought a house a month later.
Wow.
So, I mean, that was actually the impetus for me moving to Laguna Woods.
Yeah, it's great. And I think that's what people get a lot of for these experiences. They go to a club event maybe because they're interested in the venue, the music, the dancing, whatever it might be. But it's the social aspect, I think, that really kind of raises the level of it.
Right. Well, yeah. I haven't, I don't belong to a ton of other clubs, so I don't know what you're doing pickleball and all this stuff. But I can tell you, because we usually play in the 2.5, 3 hours, maybe 3, 4 games. But in between, we have benches and chairs and all surrounding the court, so everyone just sits and schmoozes and all this kind of stuff until their name is called for the next game. But it's always mixed. People play different people. So yes, it's just a very friendly group, and we welcome. Shuffleboard was unfortunately shut down as an example during Clubhouse 1. Now they've been coming using our courts, and some of them have actually joined our club. And so again, we welcome everyone to come join us, as I said, and we love to teach new people how to play the game. Yeah.
So should people who are interested, they shouldn't be intimidated, right, by the bocce?
Absolutely.
Like you said, it doesn't take a ton of athletic skill to do this game, right?
I know I'm insulting all my members right now, but it doesn't take much athletic skill.
There are not many athletes.
As long as you do this with your arm, you're okay. So yeah, it doesn't take much. And we had people with some disabilities that also play, again, with no problem.
And is there an age that kind of like the younger can be the older? You can play it into your 90s?
Well, yeah. You can. I'll tell you a real funny story. When I was elected, one of the reasons I was told I was elected president is because they called me Youngblood, and I'm 70 years old. And I said, Laguna Woods must be the only place in the world you could be 70 and be called Youngblood. So I said, yeah, they're all ages, though.
Right. And when you guys have these social events, who does? Are you all planning? Are you weeks in advance? Or?
We plan a month in advance. In fact, we had a board meeting yesterday where we were discussing our May event. Okay. And actually the Club Expo and then the one after that. So we're always a month or two ahead of all our events to make sure everything is planned, everything is in place, and everything is done correctly. So we're very meticulous when it comes to planning our events.
Okay. Now the event you have coming up for the concert on the 9th, the monies you raise go to what exactly?
Well, the money we get goes to, obviously we have to cover our operating costs, etc. But any extra money we're a nonprofit, so we donate money to charity. In fact, about a month or so ago, I personally, the club donated, $2,000 to the Florence Sylvester Senior Center. So we gave them a $2,000 donation, and we kind of do that on a regular basis. Also, this year, then something new, we started getting sponsors. So the sponsors and the dentists, doctors, real estate agents, construction people, all very generous, and we use the money they give us to enhance the event. Better food, bigger prizes, and all this kind of stuff. And that brings in more people, which brings in more money, which allows us to donate more to charity. So everyone wins. They get hopefully new customers, we get a better event, charity gets money, so everyone wins. It's a win-win all around.
Right, that's fantastic. So what are some of the other special events you guys try to do throughout the year? You have the big concert coming up.
Right, well, let me just talk about the bingo. The bingo is a big thing.
There we go.
Right, next month on May 14th, I believe it is, right? I got to check my calendar here. Yeah, we have a bingo game. One thing we've done differently from last year is we've increased our prizes. And again, the sponsorship money helps that quite a bit. So we more than doubled our prizes from last year.
Oh.
And from what I'm told right now, we're the only game in town except for Florence Sylvester.
Okay.
So I mean, we've upped our prizes, and we have, like, on St. Patrick's Day, we did a drawing where the prizes were $50 a game, but you were able to pull money from a hat, a number from a hat, and if you pulled 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that corresponded to your dollars. So 4 means an extra $40. So we actually gave away a $100 prize on some game.
Oh,
the only games were $50. So that was that. And then also on raffles, we gave away cash on all the raffles, like 10 drawings, but we also had a gift card, a $100 gift card to Starfish Restaurant in Laguna Beach, and also a golf rangefinder from Blue Tees Golf, which is, if you're a golfer, you know how valuable that is.
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
So we've been giving away, we had a big sales out there. So we're also trying not only increase the bingo prizes, but also the raffle prizes. And again, we give the food and we keep it at a very low cost, and everyone wins.
I'll come out there with my dauber, maybe play some bingo.
Well, we don't do that. We have the sliding cards.
Oh,
That
I
way we don't
love
have to
those
throw them out
daubers.
after the game. We just slide everything back. But that's what we do there. So those are the two big events: the dances and the bingo.
Okay.
That's for guests and members. We do have 3 members-only events, and those member-only events are: we have first the Battle of the Sexes, which, as I told you, since there's no physical advantage, it's
Right.
a very competitive series. And exactly, men won last year, but only by the last game I think we had to pull it out. But I mean, it's very competitive. We do that every year. So men versus the women, and again, everyone gets into that big time because of a big comparison. Then we have our club championships, where we crown a men's champion, a women's champion, and mixed doubles, and then we give a trophy and prizes for those people. And then we have a members-only barbecue with music. We have a clubhouse too now with barbecue, etc. And that's just for our members. So I mean, those are the 3 kind of special events we do just for us, but all the rest of the events are guests and members.
Here we go. Hit us one more time with the event we have coming up April 9th, and then we're going to,
Right here.
before we wrap up.
Spring Fling with Legends of Rock, a great band. And again, I don't know who the special guest star is, but I'm hoping it's as good as everyone tells. I'm sure he will be as good. I know it's a he, so I'm sure he'll be as good as everyone tells us it is. But basically, that's it.
It's $10. It's over the which clubhouse?
Clubhouse 2. It starts at 5:30. The doors open at 5:30, and it usually goes to about 8 o'clock or so.
Sounds fantastic. Philip Chait from the Bocce and Social Club. Thank you so much for joining us.
I won't call it and dating club. We'll just go Bocce and Social Club. Yes.
Thank you very much. We have a new segment coming up. It's called The Doctor's Lounge and is brought to you by RadNet. So look forward to that. And then when I come back, I'll be talking to Huey from the Heart of Rock and Roll. Stay with us.
Who is RadNet? You've probably heard our name and seen our commercials, but you still might not know who we are. RadNet is the largest provider of outpatient imaging services in the United States, with over 8,000 employees and almost 400 imaging centers in 7 states. Likely, if you have had diagnostic imaging, you have experienced RadNet's high-quality, cost-effective imaging services. With 35 years of expertise, RadNet is leading into the future with advanced technology and the very latest AI technology. We are positioned for the future of healthcare. RadNet, leading radiology forward.
Hello, welcome to the Doctor's Lounge. Today I'm hanging out with Dr. Valentina Bonev, board-certified breast surgical oncologist and high-risk specialist. Hello.
Hi, Stephanie. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I'm glad to be here with you.
Thank you for hanging out with me again today. So today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about genetics and breast cancer. So how much of a role do genetics play in risk for breast cancer?
That's a great question. So family history of breast cancer, particularly in first and second degree relatives, is really important, and we ask patients about that. Also, family history or in a patient themselves of having a gene mutation that's associated with breast cancer can dramatically increase their estimated lifetime risk of developing breast cancer, and it can change how we monitor them, surveillance them. But genetics, believe it or not, as far as we know, only plays into about 10% of all breast cancers. So even though it's incredibly important, most patients will have absolutely no family history of breast cancer.
Oh, that's interesting. So if a patient does have, a genetic, disposition, someone in their family with a history of breast cancer, what is the advice for them?
So we want to evaluate if that patient is high risk, and if they are, we will put them on a high risk screening protocol, meaning we monitor them more closely so that because they are at high risk of developing breast cancer, we want to catch it at an early stage. And then we also offer genetic testing for patients to see if they do test positive for a pathogenic gene mutation associated with breast cancer. And there's quite a few genes. BRCA1 and 2 are really the most known genes, and they have a 60+% of developing breast cancer in your life if you have that gene mutation. So if we know that with a patient, it's really going to change how we're going to surveillance them.
Well, thank you so much for this discussion. It was so fascinating. It was so lovely to have you.
Thank you.
And I hope you come hang out again with me soon.
Absolutely.
Thank you for hanging out in the Doctor's Lounge today, and we'll see you next time.
Harder rock and roll, Back to the Future, all sorts of fun stuff about Huey Lewis in the news. Well, let me tell you something. Our next guest is keeping that harder rock and roll alive right here in Orange County.
Yep.
Want to welcome Roger Langdon to the program. And you are the front man for Huey. Tell us a little bit about the origin of that.
It's a pretty interesting story. So back in 2012, 2013, I've been in bands for many, many years, and I would kind of try to sound like an artist. So if I was doing a cover of a song by Bruce Springsteen, I'd try to sound like it.
A little more gravelly,
a little bit,
more whatever.
Yeah, kind of a vocal impression. So one person mentioned I kind of sound like Huey Lewis. Another one said I kind of looked like him, maybe not as much as I might today. But so it just kind of morphed into that. We kind of thought, let's do a tribute band, which was becoming a really big thing over the past decade or 2 decades. So it kind of became a thing that just took off for us.
Yeah, and Huey Lewis, it's kind of funny. I remember they had Do You Believe in Love and a couple other hit songs. Then the harder rock and roll came out, and then Back to the Future pretty much at the same time, right? And they just blew up.
Yeah.
They went crazy like in 1985, 84 or so. And it was just nuts. I was in high school at the time. I remember you couldn't turn on the radio, and within 10 minutes there was a Huey Lewis song on the radio.
They got about as big as you can get for a good, like you said, a 3 to 4 year period. In '84, everybody owned, the sports album by Huey Lewis and the News. They owned Born in the USA. They owned Thriller.
Right.
And probably Madonna's album. Those were like the albums everybody had. So, yeah, it was the second biggest album in '84, right behind Thriller.
Yeah.
Nobody was going to beat Thriller. So it was a battle for second place, and Huey won that battle.
Sport. That's right, Sport. Well, I remember that now. Yeah, that's the name of that album. And so, when did you first discover Huey Lewis? I mean, were you just a fan coming up along the way?
Yeah, I mean, I was in high school when sports came out and Huey Lewis started and MTV started.
Right.
And they were big with video and really just had fun with the whole thing. They never took themselves super seriously. So right in my wheelhouse, I was prime audience for Huey Lewis in the News.
Now you have a performance coming up here at the Performing Arts Center. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, we're actually very excited because we're returning. We're not to the Performing Arts Center, but to Laguna Woods Village. We played here back in 2019, had a fantastic time, and so we're really excited to be back. It's going to be a great show. Every hit by Huey Lewis in the News is going to get heard. If you're a fan, you're going to know all the songs. But we also do a lot of covers because they did in their shows.
Oh, okay.
So even if you're not a huge Huey Lewis fan, you're going to hear songs by other artists that Huey Lewis used to cover as well.
Now, you had the opportunity to actually meet Huey Lewis, right?
Yeah.
Tell me about that story.
Many times. So yeah, it happened actually pretty early on. We were doing shows for maybe a year or two, put some videos out there on YouTube and stuff, and then a wife of one of the founding members of Huey Lewis in the News emailed us. And this was only a couple of years in, and I was she kind of said, "Do you ever play in Minnesota?" Because that's where they lived at that time.
Okay.
And I said, "No, but we'd love to come out there. So if you know a venue, let us know. We'll get you a T-shirt." So she emails me within 5 minutes saying, "Well, I'm actually married to the keyboard player, and they really love what you guys are doing." And that we were way rougher a couple years in than we are now. So we really appreciated it. Since then, we've become friends with them. Her husband, the keyboard player, Sean Hopper, lives in Minnesota. My wife is from Minnesota, so when we visit my wife's family, we visit with them. They came and saw the show just a few months ago in Nashville.
Fun.
And
what's that like, though, being in front of a band member from the original?
it was a total surprise. It was probably better that I didn't know.
Okay.
So I looked down and to the left in the front row, and there he was sitting there, and I said, "That looks just like Sean Hopper." And I went, "Oh, that is Sean Hopper." It was a great show. I asked him after the show, he's seen videos, but he's never seen it live. I said, "What'd you think?" He said, "Well, I have stood behind and played behind Huey Lewis for almost 50 years. He goes, "You look and sound and move so much like him. It was creepy."
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it was a great endorsement. It really just kept us pumped to do this. Now we do it more out of respect and wanting to keep that music alive because we know the guys now.
Right. Well, speaking of live, we have a video. So let's take a look at we're going to take a look at the video real quick and then come back and talk about what it's like being on the stage.
Absolutely.
That's some pretty good stuff. Not only are you doing the music and you're doing it fantastic, but you're playing the part. You're wearing the outfits people remember from the videos. You're doing his moves up there. I mean, this is it's not just a vocal impression. It's a body impression, right?
As I said, tributes have really become a thing over the last 10, 15, maybe 20 years. And not knowing the tribute world before, and I just kind of dove in, I never thought not doing it all the way was not an option.
Oh, okay.
So we kind of went, we're going to go all the way. We're going to do a full-on impersonation. And so my frame of reference was the Elvis impersonators. I was a kid. And those guys took it serious. Now, there was a lot of corny guys out there.
Yeah, they were corny, but they were legit. They had the outfits. They were on the stage. They were doing the moves.
Yeah, and when one guy could really nail Elvis's sound and look, that guy became pretty well known. He went to the front of the line there. So we thought that's the way to do it. We need to do this legit. I need to fully go with the outfits, not wear a wig, grow the hair out, get it the color closer to his, and try to be as authentic as we could. Yeah.
Okay, that's amazing. Tell me a little bit about your band. You have some legit guys in there too. It's not just you. I mean, you're doing a great job, these guys are some performers in the background.
I'm now officially the weakest link in this lineup at this point. So, the band started with a lot of local guys, and after a while, the news spread that there was this really quality tribute band, and what we found out was musicians really like Huey Lewis and the News. And so they're very respected among musicians. They really like the music. And so we started to branch out across the country. A couple of our guys moved to Nashville. And so through their network at that point, the word started to spread more. Our sax player, Steve Nieves, who's been with us for about 8 years now, he plays with Jim Messina on tour of Loggins and Messina. So you could see him right now with Jim Messina on tour. Our keyboard player, when he's not playing with Carrie Underwood in Las Vegas or on tour with Carrie Underwood, plays with us.
Okay.
So we've got some pretty heavyweight guys in that band now. So, and they love doing it. They're just a big fan of playing this music.
Yeah, and for those who don't know, Huey Lewis doesn't tour anymore because Huey had some vocal challenges, some medical things that were going on, and he can't really sing anymore.
It was a
hearing thing, right?
Hearing thing, yeah. Okay. He has what's a diagnosis. It's called Meniere's disease. He had lost hearing in one ear back in the 80s, and so he really only had one ear all through his career. And then in 2018, he got diagnosed, and he basically lost the hearing in his other ear. He lost frequencies. He can hear, but he can't sing because he can't hear the pitch, and
he can't hear. He can't find his note.
Exactly.
Right.
So he has very bad days. He has not great days. So yeah, they had to stop touring in 2018. They had been touring for 40 straight years.
Right. It was a nonstop. I remember I'd hear, hey, they're coming to town. They're going to be at the fairgrounds or whatever it's going to be.
Yeah, and so that was a big blow for them as a whole organization. I mean, that was an industry for, those guys were an industry and a business, and so the business kind of went away. So we've been really honored to keep the music going.
Yeah, that's what was going to be my next question. What's it like to be kind of carry that on, knowing that they would love to be out there, but they can't do it anymore? Yeah,
that's why I say we've started to. When that happened, and the fact that we got to know them and kind of be friends with them, we really felt, I'm sure we put it on ourselves, they didn't put it on us, but that we kind of want to continue their legacy as much as we possibly can. There's other Huey Lewis tributes. There weren't when we started. There was kind of none. Now there's a few more around the country. Objectively, I'd like to think we're about the best there is. We call ourselves the #1 tribute.
Well, there you go.
One, we've been doing it longer than any other. Two, the band really seems to like what we do, and I think we're doing it very authentically.
Okay. Well, I want to hit it one more time before we go.
Sure.
It's going to be Huey Lewis and the News tribute, Saturday, April 20th at Performing Arts Center, 7:30. It's going to be out there. A great show, as you can see from the videos, folks, and a great front man. Thank you, Roger, for coming in and talking to us today. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Huey.
Yeah, it's all right. People call me that when I'm at the grocery store. It's totally fine.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks.
Hi there, I'm Bob Eubanks. Remember me? I'm the king of whoopee. And you're watching Village Television. But everybody does.
Hey, it's Saturday. I'm already at the desk. Let's talk about the movie. It's this great Saturday movie we got for you. It Happened in Brooklyn, starring Frank Sinatra. It's brought to us by RadNet, and it's going to be on 2 p.m. today with subtitles, 6 p.m. without the subtitles. It is the story of soldier Danny Miller, his return home to Brooklyn after the war, World War II, and aiming for a singing job and singing success. He also helps some friends chasing their dreams along the way. So that's going to be a fun one. Watch that one today. Let's take a quick check on our weather before we head out, and we've got a pretty good weekend. We're going to be dry. That's the best part. No more rain for us for a little while, and temperature's going to be in the low 60s, but we're going to warm up, a slow warming trend as we get into the rest of the week. All right, before we go, I want to tell you about Monday on This Day, Advanced Ear Care with Stuart Spencer. They're going to be here. And then the Theater Guild has a plethora of shows coming up and their performances, and then we're going to talk about that whole concept right there on Monday, so stay tuned for that one. That's going to do it for this edition of This Day. For all of us here at Village Television, hope you make this day a great one.